TMI. Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerfherder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker.
I will say I missed the Ramones in this soundtrack, but they didn't go that route with this Spider-Man movie. I guess a new trilogy, new soundtrack.
I guess so, but we'll get into it.
We will get into it. Welcome, everybody. I just saw this movie yesterday.
So did I.
So this is.
There's not much. Weeks. Yeah, we are recording on the opening weekend of Spider-Man.
This is 2 weeks in a row in which we're literally coming out of the theater and telling you our thoughts. Yeah. Which I don't always like doing. Sometimes I got to mull this stuff over. And multiple times I'm going back to my notes. I'm adding stuff. Then, of course, I start doing my research and finding my little fun facts and stuff like that. And then sometimes it changes my thoughts.
Especially with a movie that there is so much to unpack in, like this one.
Yeah.
They're just throwing stuff at you left and right.
Well, all right, we're going to get into it. I don't want to tip my hand just yet.
And by the way, this is going to be a spoilerific, not spoiler-free.
No, we
episode.
Yep. Anything that you think has been hidden away from you, we will expose.
Yeah. And even going into this 2 days after it opened, I saw a major spoiler that was just out there. Well, I opened up the computer and I saw it. So it was ruined.
Before or after you saw the movie?
Before.
People can't control themselves. There's already controversy is hitting the end at the, end scene of Spider-Man. And every comment is like, what are you talking about? It's clickbait. Yeah. But you're right.
But people it's not even the click. It's the headline now.
Speaking of that, I was talking to a friend of mine and I mentioned the Odyssey. And he's like, yeah, I have no interest. I'm like, why? Because he told me straight up that it was one of his favorite books as a kid. We both were forced to read it in high school. And he brought up the Elliot Page controversy. And he's like, well, that makes no sense. This why would this person be fighting? I said, well, in the context of the story, it makes perfect sense because they were bamboozled into serving. There was a draft. I said, it clearly makes sense for the character. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should just get over my own bias. Yeah, stop reading the friggin' clickbait headlines again. Yeah. Go see it and then tell me it sucks. Don't tell me I read this headline and it told me it sucks, so I'm not going to go see it. We say it all the time. We're just two idiots with a microphone. We can say whatever we want, but
didn't Beck have a song that said that? Just two idiots with a microphone.
That should have been our theme song.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to do. Oh wait, what are we doing? What are we pairing up with this? I'm going to say right now, you're a freaking genius.
You don't say that enough. You really don't.
I really don't. No, I don't. I do. That was unsolicited, by the way. It wasn't like you slipped me a 50. No, you steer this ship, my friend, and I'm on board week after week. And you brought this backup feature, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm on board. And damn it, if it doesn't pair up perfectly.
It does.
Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Which is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into that at the end. But wow, I've not seen that movie since probably it dropped on VHS.
It is a favorite of mine. And
is it? Okay.
I upgraded it to Blu-ray for my viewing here.
I got the Blu-ray from the library. And it froze up and skipped a couple times.
Oh, you hate that.
But I don't
what do these people do with these discs? They just throw them in from the other side of the room? Watch, I can do it.
No, it's like they're eating pizza as they're friggin' putting
I shudder to think what else they're doing with these discs in one hand and what's going on in the other.
I'll tell you right now, not since Helen Hunt in a white tank top have I've been so moved by Kirsten Dunst dancing around in her undies in a little white tank top. I'm like, all right.
So was Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, well, listen, he's in both these movies.
He is. There's another tie-in right there.
It sure is. Yep. Well, and Kirsten Dunst is coming off as MJ at one point. So let's get there. Let's do some news. And then let's hit the new Marvel Brand New Day Spider-Man.
All right.
All right. So I want to bring this up, this first news item. I've mentioned this book series once or twice on here, but I think in the next coming maybe year or so, once they get their act together, this is going to be a big buzz. Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a massive book series by Matt Dinnerman, has now been opted by Seth MacFarlane of Family Guy fame, and they are making a live-action TV series exclusive to Peacock. So already
is this like a body series or something?
No, it's not. That's the interesting thing. So the premise of Dungeon Crawler Carl is that this gentleman, Carl, wakes up one day and realizes that the Earth has been taken over by an alien race that has converted it into one giant video game. It is a live action role playing game where you have to run for your life and you have to get from point A to point B. You have to earn points. People are watching you. It's almost like the Running Man, but on a galactic scale. But along the way, his cat, Princess Donut, can talk.
I think the Running Man whole setup is very played out these days, especially after the long walk. But talking cat, I'm in.
Yeah. So to that point, so the cat is the smart one in the group and continually saves this guy. And if you're a video game player, this is right up your alley. I read the first book. I banged through it. I loved it. But of course, it just leaves you wanting more, next level. People that you come across may turn on you, kind of a thing. And you got to find safety and havens. And anyways, the second book was just a lot more of the same. And I'm like, I'm out. But they just announced that the audiobook narrator has been cast as the cat. And I thought that this was genius. Because normally it's like, oh, all right, we got this big, this book is gangbusters. Let's find some famous voice actor to come in and play this cat. The fact that Naomi Watts is playing the computer in Spider-Man just because she wanted to be a part of the MCU. So this guy's name is Jeff Hayes, and I've been told that the audiobook version is fantastic. Disney's kind of done this a little bit. Clone
I think
Wars.
most famously we saw in the Sonic movies, where Tails is voiced by the woman that did the animated series.
Yes.
And she's not a name in herself.
Stop stunt casting.
Yeah.
You know, stop giving me Keanu Reeves's Crash Carl or whatever his name was in Toy Story 4. Crash Kaboom? Was it Kaboom?
So it should have been Geddy Lee or some other Canadian luminary.
Right. Geddy Lee. That's a deep cut. So I just thought that was kind of neat. And I'm like, all right. So they're taking this seriously. And hopefully the Matt Dinnerman, the author, is also a producer on this series. So anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll keep an eye on that because once that drops on Peacock, I think it's going to get a lot of steam. Secondly, are you familiar with Raising Cane's Chicken? It's not really a franchise around here, although I did see that one was going in Manhattan last time I was in there. It's like a deep South chain of chicken restaurants. Well, they announced that they are going to be donating $1 from every box combo sold on National Chicken Finger Day, which was back on July 27th, to Kickstart Kids. It is a martial arts youth organization. And who better to help them promote this than the founder of that said organization, Chuck Norris. This is what I wanted you to see. Yes. The dumbfoundedness.
Is this AI Chuck Norris or something?
So just as we talked about a couple episodes ago, that Gene Wilder is being resurrected from the dead to hawk this damn Netflix TV series. Chuck Norris, AI Chuck Norris, has returned to promote and sell this chicken franchise. Apparently, the owner of Raising Cane's is this billionaire called Todd Groves, who is famously friends with Chuck Norris. And so not only is he back in live action commercials, but they're doing television, digital, social media, billboards, and in-restaurant signage. And the family has signed off on this. Gina Norris, I guess is his wife, said Chuck would be deeply honored to know that his legacy is continuing in such a meaningful way. And I get it. This is this whole foundation of Kickstart Kids and that they're donating to it. But he's just promoting chicken at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the family's probably getting a nice big paycheck. I have not seen any of these ads. I've seen some of the promotional materials. And of course, people have thoughts. So not everyone's on board with this, but this is the way of the world. I just wanted to set this whole thing up for the look on your face. Wait a minute. He just died. Yeah, Chuck Norris is dead.
Yeah.
But he's come back from the dead. You got to get dipping. I do want to mention the fact last episode we talked about what you were going to do this past week, and it never happened.
It never happened. Yeah, but I'll talk about that on the back end.
Okay.
There was a Weird Al show that was
canceled,
looming large in my future last week.
The only thing I want to bring up is I just saw that the sequel to Alien Romulus has been officially shelved. And then
because our android, our replicant, whatever you want to call them,
is now got better things to do. This is the gentleman who's just been cast as Black Panther.
David Johnson is the actor's name.
So that's unfortunate because I think we liked Romulus. It was kind of returned.
We did. I would think that this would be even more greenlit, neon greenlit, now that he is Black Panther. They just got to, have time, I guess, to work it in his schedule.
That is probably the deal. Because, you're not signing on one of these franchise movies. You're not signing on for just one movie. Yeah. You probably just had to sign your life away for. Especially
since he's part of the cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah. You can't leave us hanging like that. That's my news items for now.
All right, then. Spider-Man, brand new day.
Speaking of signing on to franchises for your entire life, can I just say Tom Holland is finally showing his age?
Yeah, well, he is in his early 30s now.
Yeah. Still
Which is crazy because this doesn't seem to me like this particular iteration of the Spider-Man franchise has been around that long, but it has.
It has, yeah. I mean, we were introduced to him, in
Civil War.
As Underoos. And don't get me wrong, he's still youthful. His voice is still an octave up,
almost cracking.
Yeah, well, I think that's on purpose because we see he finally goes through puberty in this one.
Puberty.
That's exactly what they should have called this.
Spider puberty.
Yeah, spider puberty. I will say this though, I saw this movie yesterday, 9 a.m. in my Regal Theater, which is, by the way, getting a massive upgrade. Half of the theaters are now completely shuttered in plastic, under construction. We're getting reclining seats with a little fold-out tray on the front. The concession stand is completely ripped up. Thankfully, they had a backup concession stand that sat there empty for years and years. So they're putting money into this for one of the locations that was set to be closed only a couple years ago. I am very happy to see the money getting put into this. But it looks like they're replacing speakers as well. So I think that it's getting now. I would love it if they took two of these theaters and merged it into one big screen, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
So you saw this at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. There was a lot of people in my theater.
I saw it at the same time, actually, at my theater, because that was the first showing of the day. I got myself out, made sure I was there, because I did not want to be sitting body to body like I have been in the past with like Endgame or Black Panther 2. And I wasn't. This was a very comfortable capacity. I would say it was probably not quite half full, maybe 45% full.
Okay. Still, for a 9 a.m. showing, normally my theater doesn't even run anything until 11, but I think because half the theaters are now closed, that they're consolidating.
Yeah, no, Spider-Man at my theater was playing 9:15.
Oh, wow.
9:30. So it was pretty much on every screen.
Wild. What I forgot and didn't even think twice about, I walked right into that damn Doomsday trailer. As much as I've tried to stay away from it.
Oh, yeah, good. They didn't play it before my showing.
They sure did. And boy, as soon as it came on, I'm like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, son of a...
What they did play before my showing was a teaser of Godzilla Minus Zero.
What? I did not get that.
Oh. And it was not spoilerific. It was just long enough to whet your appetite.
That's how you do it. Big guy back on screen. That's all you got to say.
Yep.
Don't show me all these fight sequences and this voiceover of all these characters so I know exactly what's going to happen in this damn movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, did you see that this movie dropped on X? The entire movie, somebody pirated and dropped on X. It was available for a couple hours before it was finally taken down.
No, the same thing happened to the Odyssey.
Yeah. Do you remember when that kid went to jail for dropping the Hulk on one of these servers back in the day? Now all of a sudden someone's just going in and pirating the whole thing. This is what happens with digital. Hack into it. But no, I did not watch it on X. And I hope anybody listening did not either. See this on the big screen.
You're definitely.
This was almost as impressive, if not more so, than the Odyssey.
This is also a movie event where you're getting people that don't normally go to the theater, going to the theater. So I kind of knew, okay, I might be in trouble here once the Sony logo comes up and somebody actually in the theater reads Sony.
Is that a giveaway?
So I'm like, oh, please. And
Marvel Studios.
Thankfully, it was hush hush during the actual film itself. So that was not a portent of things to come, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, brand new day. So the opening Marvel logo is still there, even though this is a Sony movie.
Right.
But we're getting, again, just to remind us, because we may have forgotten what happened in the previous movie. So you're getting all these little snatches of dialogue from the end of
Far From Home. No,
that was Mysterio. No Way Home.
No Way Home.
So you're getting some dialogue.
Thankfully they went away from the home.
So now it's just going to be every movie's going to have the word day in its title.
I fear you may be correct.
But then it ends on the Marvel Studios logo with the big Spider-Man head behind it. So we know how important they feel that Spider-Man is to do that.
Well, based on the box office numbers, I mean, we're not even out of the weekend yet, and this thing is already blasted 168 million.
Well, yeah, it's made the all-time opening day record. All time.
Do you think Marvel knew this going in, that this was going to be big, and that's why they're re-releasing Endgame to regain the title?
They could very well, yeah, because this is a shared award.
In both of them, it's not like suddenly it's a different.
But it is. You're right. It is a shared award with Sony. So maybe they are just trying to eke out that little bit of more money for Endgame. But from the looks of this, it's probably going to far surpass Endgame. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a more accessible, even though there's some baggage with what happened at the end of the last movie. I think they do a really good job of catching you up on why he's ostracized and nobody remembers him. Although, we don't get a Doctor Strange cameo. Those scenes are mentioned in the flashbacks to him saying goodbye to his friends, especially MJ, I think is enough. And you realize the opening montage, that it's been 4 years that he's now lived. Aunt May was killed. He lives by himself in an apartment. What he does for money, I have no idea.
Yeah, they didn't establish that he was a photographer or anything like that. There is
no mention of the Daily Bugle or J. Jonah Jameson at all. And I'm like, if nobody remembers him, you can't even get a job because you don't have an ID.
Well, maybe he does have an ID. He's just got to start from scratch. This is very wonky. What is his birth record? How far back or how deeply does this go, this spell? And
so at this point, so nobody on Earth. So even like Nick Fury, who's no longer on Earth, would he have forgotten who he was?
Well, I think it was established in No Way Home that Doctor Strange was the only one that was immune because he was casting the spell.
Right, correct.
And which is surprising that he's not here, being that he's the only one.
Because he was such a big part of that movie.
Yeah.
We don't make mention of the other two Spider-Men coming from multiverses.
And I was almost like, does the Hulk recognize him? Because I thought I saw recognition.
Take. Yes. So, yep, I agree with you there. And I think that is true. So this Brand New Day comes from a storyline within the Marvel comics, but it was well after I stopped reading comics. So I don't know how accurate or close it hews to the source material, other than the fact that they're using the name, because there is a storyline where he mutates into Man Spider.
And I thought that this was where this movie was going, because I think that there was a lot of false seeds put out there going into it, that I saw some of what I thought were spoilers at the time, months and months ago, of Tom Holland as Man Spider. So I thought that was going to be in this movie, but that's not the case.
Yeah, I think they, from what I understand in some of his interviews, because I guess they pretty much brought him in on the table and said, hey, listen, you have as much say as some of these other guys. And at one point he's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I had like fangs in my wrists or that I, grew extra arms? And they're like, well, we don't. It's a family movie. We can't be having go back to that Dr. Octopus scene in 2 where the arms are killing all the surgeons. And I remember the kid behind me just going, Dad, I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I can still hear it. That kid's probably still in therapy.
Yeah.
So I think they backed off on that, actually mutating into a full-on spider. We do get that one scene where he's working on the inhibitor, and there's a documentary playing of the spider morphine, coming out of its shell kind of a thing. It's actually
David Keith.
It is David Keith doing the voiceover. But that's about as horrific as it got. We do get organic spider webs, which we had in Tobey Maguire's. But here he's disgusted by it. And it's a throwaway joke in the last movie when they realize that he has organic, he doesn't make it. And they're like, that's so gross. This is the Peter Parker that is as uncomfortable as it is watching this, because the last couple Peter Parker movies with Tom Holland, he's already established with his aunt. He's got a friend core around him. He's got a love interest. They're working in reverse, because Peter Parker has always been a loner. He's always been like, I can't, divulge my identity. My family members are going to get hurt because of it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with all these superheroes with secret identities.
And yet here, he's almost got like this Batman Commissioner Gordon relationship with this DeWolf.
Yes. So
lady.
He's sitting there. He's got like a whole system of cameras that are leading back to his computer setup in his apartment. So you're thinking, okay, is he funded by the police department?
That's
How does
where
he
I'm
get all this
back
stuff?
to where is this money coming from? Because he lost all of the Stark technology in the last one. Am I wrong?
Well, he still has Evie, which is the in-suit
she was established
voice.
as part of
I think
stuff that Tony Stark gave, because it even made it look like he was recreating or making the suit himself, or at least mending it.
Yeah, he was 3D printing the spider on the front of it.
Oh, okay. I will say this Spider-Man costume is this whole movie is about as comic accurate as you're ever going to get without going into animation.
And what I loved is that, and a lot of people have picked up on this online, is that the opening moments of this really show him, as Peter was a lot of the time during the comics, where he's sitting, he's monitoring stuff going on, then he goes out and he fights crime on the street, which isn't really part of the other Tom Holland movies.
Yeah, like I said,
there's always some big overarching thing.
Yeah.
But this is on the street, so you get a very Fantastic Four opening, a montage of him defeating various Spider-Man villains.
And we've seen this in the trailer and people have dissected it, but it is they are going out of their way to recreate a lot of these famous Spider-Man covers.
Which they did in Fantastic Four as well.
But this, I think these are even more iconic.
You've got the tarantula cover from Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man #1. You've got the one from Amazing Fantasy where he's swinging.
Yeah. That was a nice one. Tarantula, a boomerang, ramrod,
the hand, which was such a surprise to me because they've been used already in Iron Fist of all things.
And they are synonymous with Daredevil.
Yeah.
So they're all over the movie poster. And when you see this, you're like, oh, just like in, I think it was the Endgame or one of those other, when the trailer dropped, they were deleting characters in certain scenes to keep it a surprise. And everyone was like, Daredevil's in this. Daredevil has to be in this. No, he's nowhere to be found. Unless they forgot to unerase him. Yeah. But the hands, like, there's certain scenes in here that are fantastic. I'm going to say right now, the choreography and the camera work in this movie is spectacular. And I use that in every sense of the word. It is, you're watching I have not felt this enamored with a superhero movie since watching the original Spider-Man.
What, the Tobey Maguire?
Swinging. Yeah, when you're seeing him swinging through the city.
And you've got, it's like a wrist point of view swing as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the camera angles are just fantastic. And it's about as tactile as you're going to get. And I'm going to give credit to the director, this Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and the first 2 episodes of Wonder Man. Let's talk about that for 1 second, because we just got a notification recently that it's been greenlit for season 2. And now it's canceled.
Yeah, because again, Feige is doubling down on all this quality over quantity talk.
Yeah, but Wonder Man that was quality.
It was. But I think that they're really paring back at this point. We're not getting anything, I believe, in 2027 from Marvel Studios. It's all coming in 2028, except for Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which... the end credit there has to be a lead into Secret Wars.
That's like, maybe an alternate Spider-Man coming out of whatever gateway or something.
Oh no! All right, we'll get there, because I don't think that's not my takeaway. Who knows?
But somebody has to see him to report that in an app, right? So how?
Yes, that is my take. Is that so? Ned, we find out that Ned has created this spider tracker, and it's an app that just tracks Spider-Man. And so he's got, at one point, Peter actually walks into their apartment and he realizes he's got like this murder mystery board with all the sightings of Spider-Man. And he's narrowed it down to 2, one of them being Flash Thompson, which was pretty funny. And this tracker.
The other one being the teacher.
Tom,
who's Martin Starr from Freaks and Geeks.
Right, because later on they even realize, so neither one of these, so Ned nor MJ remember Peter at all. And yet later in the movie, when it's revealed that she does remember him, she's like, wait a minute, you're the guy who showed up at my coffee shop 4 years ago. How do you remember that?
Yeah.
Come on. You're the awkward guy that showed up at my coffee shop. Okay.
Did we mention Tombstone as one of the villains?
Tombstone was another one. He actually got a little more screen time.
Yes, he did. He had dialogue at least.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we get payoff from the Scorpion from Homecoming.
Yeah, because that's basically how it ends. So
even though it's not much of a payoff, he's just a pawn.
No, but you get to see him in action. You get to see him in action
with the suit.
Yep. But it's been 4 years, so it's been 4 years since Doctor Strange put the spell on the entire planet. So nobody remembers Peter Parker. All they know is Spider-Man.
In 4 years, he's let MJ be, he's let Ned be. And I guess, is this the first time he's actually approaching them after 4 years? I think it is.
It does seem so, because they were off to college. And you do get these little montages where he's watching Ned's Instagram. I will say Ned did grow his IG following over the 4 years, because it went from like 12 likes to like 100 plus by the end of it. And they both go to MIT. And Peter just sitting there stewing in his own juices. And the big overriding story arc is that he wrote this letter to MJ. He told her straight up, I will come and find you, and I will remind you.
And he carries it with him. He still has this
note. You think it would be a lot more rippled
in the same coffee cup from 4 years prior.
Yes, that he kept. So
yeah,
which is fine. That's we've all got something from a relationship that we kind of.
And we just know at some point MJ is going to actually read that letter.
Yeah, forcefully or not.
Apart from all these little snatches of him defeating supervillains, the first big action sequence we get here is the tank chase through the city.
He got hurt making this scene, and he was sidelined for, I'm talking about Tom Holland, not Spider-Man.
Well, he got hurt too, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's popping Advil left and right.
Yeah, sure. He's getting his ass handed to him. And this tank is on a tear, and it's just flying through the city. And boom, out of nowhere, he thinks he's got it under control. And no, it's heading right toward damage control.
And not only does he have to deal with the tank, he's got to deal with Frank Castle.
Can I just say, he is fantastic. I loved Frank Castle. They never call him the Punisher, ever. They don't reference him at all. And he's just out and about. Like,
there is a suspension of disbelief that you need not only for a superhero movie, but another sub-level of suspension of disbelief of the canon that they've already set up. Frank Castle is a fugitive at this point. So, and as you said, he's just moving around freely.
Right. And
the police are never after him.
Guns all over.
And he's in the hospital for how long at the end? And nobody arrests him.
He's hanging out. He's just hanging out. But he's so much fun. And I don't think in this TV series he's played for comic relief here. And he does drop some body comments here and there. And
whenever it's about to get a little bit too R-rated, Spider-Man webs his mouth, so he can't.
Yeah, which is fun. They have a great relationship. This should have been the Supergirl Lobo relationship.
John Bernthal was very concerned that you get the sense that this is the same Punisher from Daredevil, the R-rated Punisher, and they don't quite get there. He is a little bit more warm and cuddly in this one than he is in the other Marvel stuff. But like you said, it completely works for this movie.
Yeah, no, it works perfectly for this movie. And again, how many times you read a comic book and it's like, oh, the Punisher pops in this episode, or, even like the Hulk stuff, which was to me, the conversation with Peter in Banner, very reminiscent of the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin conversation.
Yeah, and of course, Banner doesn't know who this kid is.
No, what's your name again? You're not one of my students, are you? But again, realizing that this kid knows what he's talking about, and that he's talking at a level that his other students clearly aren't quite there yet.
But during this tank chase, the tank is heading towards what is the name of the organization again? Damage Control.
Which in the comics has always just been this organization that kind of like they were played as a joke, that they clean up after superhero events. They're called in to clean up the mess the Fantastic Four made fighting Mole Man. Here, they're a much more insidious organization.
Sinister organization.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., where they're taking advantage of all this super tech that gets left lying around after these battles.
Right. And you do see that where they've got the shockers, or is a shocker? Yeah, shockers.
Yeah, shocker.
Like those electric gauntlets.
And as Spider-Man's taking the tour, he's like, be careful with those.
Yeah, that's correct. And they're going to come back into play later in. They don't have a secret room to work on this stuff. No,
but yeah, Punisher comes in not for any other reason that he just wants to kill the bad guys that are driving the tank. So Spider-Man's got to stop him first and then go after everything.
Let's just kill him. We'll ask questions later. You do you, I do me. But he's calling him Frank the whole time. It's like, dude, kid.
But it's not like he's got a secret identity. Everybody knows that he's Frank Castle, hence him being a fugitive from the law.
He's not really wearing a mask or anything.
No.
He's the guy with the big flat nose. I wanted to hear him say, Carl. At least once.
The tank does manage to break through the wall of damage control, and who's driving it but some kindly old lady.
Spider-Man. And this is another, so he realizes that someone is controlling her.
But you had to assume that whoever was controlling her knew how to drive the tank, which is kind of not.
Yeah, because this old lady didn't know how to drive a tank.
Once you know who was controlling her, like, well, how does she know how to drive a tank?
Yeah, I don't know.
And, spoiler, it's not like we're saving this until the end. So, and if you haven't seen this, you shouldn't be listening up to this point.
This is a big spoiler that's been out there for a while now.
This is what I was talking about when I saw a headline, like a couple of days before going to see the movie. Oh, Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey.
Yeah, and you're like... that doesn't make any sense, especially when you see that. So Jean Grey, we find out that Jean Grey has been controlling these people, and that she can jump from person to person. And I will say again, back to the choreography, when these people get possessed, I guess, for lack of a better term, they flail about. And it's just so well orchestrated. It's so well done because she's literally jumping from person to person within a crowd. And you just see all these people like spasmodic.
Yeah. And what she's doing is mind control because she's the most powerful telepath apart from Charles Xavier.
I don't know. Her sister is the one who was teaching her how to do this.
Well, her sister obviously is not on this mortal plane anymore. So
no, she taught her just in time. And you're going to tell me Damage Control, who's after these two girls, didn't know that there were two of them? What about the redhead that was sitting with her on the bench? I don't know.
She's still over there, boss.
Literally standing over her. Her sister was just like, move away. Yeah, that made no sense. So, but she's killing people. There was a scene where she jumps into the guy and he's standing in the middle of the road and gets just plowed over by the taxi. There's no way that guy survived. He's killing people. Brutal.
And so her whole purpose of driving the tank into Damage Control was to free the Scorpion. So you'd think that she would just try to find her sister while she was in there in the first place.
Because there's this big, huge vault that they keep.
So maybe she realizes no matter who she's in, she can't get in the vault. So she's trying to find somebody that can get into the vault.
It was a convoluted plan. Because if she could just morph into other people, if she could just possess other people, she could just walk in the front door.
Yeah.
Because she did that with the guards later on. And I'm like, so why did you have to go? Listen, it was a big set piece, action adventure, whatever, but it doesn't make sense. It's just damage to cause damage.
And the one guy, the one guard,
Damage Control,
the guard that she possesses before she makes it to Scorpion, after she leaves him, he's like waking up and he's like, I'd never hurt you, Spider-Man. Yeah, I love you.
I love you. We do see Spider-Man does get some serious love from the city, which I appreciate.
Yeah, he gets some hot tub time with Yelena.
Yeah, well, let's bring up Yelena because she comes out of left field. And I'm like, they never interacted with each other in Endgame that I remember. And yet somehow he's suddenly got their new Avengers.
She not only is she a new Avenger, not only is she a Thunderbolt turned new Avenger, but she is also giving intel to all these other superheroes. And she has an office in a steam bath place.
Yeah, she's like in a Roman bathhouse.
Why isn't she in the Avengers Tower doing this?
Maybe it is in her tower. Maybe they just put in a hot tub in the.
It seemed kind of grungy to be in New Avengers Tower.
Yeah,
maybe they just didn't have the budget to build the set for New Avengers
she's
Tower.
Doing something on the slide. But again, that's a fun scene where Peter goes to meet with her and she's like, "Take your clothes off, get in the pool," and he comes out with a mask on. She's like, "Oh no! Do you ever take that off?"
Yeah,
goes, "No, I can't."
But it's funny. She's like, "What you do, small potatoes, me big potatoes."
Yeah, they're the Avengers. They can't be rescuing every cat out of a tree.
But I would think that this is pretty big potatoes. What's going on with that?
He felt so. That's why he came back to her at one point, and he's like, "My small potatoes may be bigger than you think." Yeah, these characters that they're bringing in to play off Peter Parker are fun. This to me is a callback to like those old, Spider-Man, those Marvel double features where every issue, he had a guest appearance. Somebody else in this week, the Fantastic Four, or maybe it's just Ben Grimm.
Marvel Team Up.
Yeah, Marvel Team Up. That's the book I was thinking of. The only thing we're missing is Firestar and Iceman. That would have been fun.
Maybe someday.
Someday.
They really did have to go above and beyond to match or exceed this last movie that had Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, the build-up on that.
And I'm not quite sure they did it 100% here. But
I think it's a different movie.
They get really close.
It's a different movie. You're also pushing 2.5 hours, and where I lauded the fact that the Odyssey just flew by. This one was like, oh, cool, we're wrapping up here, and then there's another 40
I'm not going to
minutes.
say that this flew by either for me.
There's a 40-minute. You think this storyline is all wrapped up, and you're like, where are we going? This is now the Jean Grey show.
Yeah.
So, but. So he realizes this is Jean Grey. This is the girl. And he has this tech that face recognition, so we can just track her whenever she shows up again.
And it made at one point he tracked her to a college. So I'm like, is she a student at this college?
Yeah, I don't know.
That
Yeah,
didn't make much
because that
sense.
really doesn't go anywhere unless she
Yeah.
was purposely trying to go visit the Hulk, which she ended up controlling because she took
Yeah, that's probably the case why
so
she
she
went
ended up.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mark Ruffalo, if Tom Holland is showing his age, Mark Ruffalo is really showing his
So
age.
the Hulk is too, because he's got almost all
Yeah.
white hair.
Yeah,
He's
and
old
that could have
Hulk.
listen. Some Rogaine would have just done wonders, in a black wash would have made this guy look 20
Just
years
for
younger.
men, just for Hulk.
But we find out right that Banner he's been wearing this inhibitor that keeps
So
the
is
Hulk
this
in
the
check.
reason why he's Smart Hulk in all these movies? Because of this inhibitor?
You never see it.
He's never explained it before.
No. Now he's just Banner.
Because they gave the impression in Endgame that he did it himself.
That he somehow forced himself to stop halfway through. So I don't know. And maybe it was the push from Gene that turned him into the Raging Hulk again. It's good to see the Hulk. He was smashing. When he grows, when he finally turns into the Hulk, Spider-Man's like, oh, I didn't know you could get that big. And I'm like, he's big.
But the one thing that's pretty solidly established here in the MCU is you can't trust a redhead because Scarlet Witch did the same. She did the same thing to the Hulk in Age of Ultron.
Damn redheads. But to me, the heart of this entire story is him trying to just make MJ remember. This is all he wants. He's become obsessed. At one point, he's in the apartment, and that hot girl, is standing at the front of the elevator. We live on the same floor. Yeah, okay. And he leaves. And it's like, dude, come on, move on.
Wasn't there like another girl in the Tobey Maguire that was the landlord's daughter?
Yeah, she was like that. Inga, she needed to eat, but otherwise, yeah, same thing. Throwing myself at him. But he gets a nice little upgrade apartment. Again, how's he paying for this? I mean, assuming if Aunt May died, that he would inherit her estate. But if no one remembers who he is, how would that happen?
And so he goes to a kegger because he sees Ned buying kegs of beer.
Yeah, back to the whole, like every day he goes to this bodega and he buys flowers and takes them to May's grave. And that's where he runs into Ned. Because clearly he's decided to live as close to where these two live and just be a stalker. But you're right. He follows them back to their apartment. Neither one of them know who he is. And when they ask, what's your name? And he goes, May, nerd, Maynard. A May nerd. I'm like, all right, that's good.
But he also sees some guy kissing on MJ.
Do you know who that guy was?
No.
That's Iman Esfandi. He's the guy who plays Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka. He's the live action version of Ezra from Rebels.
Oh. So this sets Peter off even more isolated than he was, feeling sorry for himself, even more so than he was before. So this causes his arachnid side to come out even further. So it's really kind of brushed aside. They don't out and out call it puberty in here, but they're saying, well, maybe the prolonged isolation is making you have
I think
these fits.
Evie actually says something to him at one point. It's like, maybe you should get out and the high levels of stress that you're under, because that's all he does. He fights crime and just frets over MJ. Clearly, like I said, clearly he doesn't have a job. He just wanders the streets talking with the wolf lady inspector.
Yeah, as you said, his Commissioner Gordon in this.
Which is weird,
he almost kills Scorpion when Scorpion comes back possessed by Jean Grey, as we find out later, to get it back into damage control.
This is where it gets very mean-spirited for Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And especially when you find out later, when she jumps into MJ, which doesn't make sense because he left her possessed in the helicopter pilot dangling. He finds out that she needs at least a 33-foot radius in order to be able to jump from one person. So if you're standing 34 feet away from her, she can't get into you. And at one point she tries to get into him and can't do it, and realizes that he's one of, now why this is, I have no idea. They don't really explain why he's able to repel her. Peter Parker, as far as I know, has never had like telepathic or psionic powers.
It might have something to do with the arachnid side coming out.
They could be.
I don't know.
Yeah. But the constant flashbacks to his relationship to MJ, to Ned, and that's a relationship I think is even more heartbreaking than MJ, is that he has nobody. He has absolutely nobody. And even, you know, the flashbacks to him in Aunt May. Don't think I didn't notice those Star Wars action figures up on the shelf, by the way.
When Peter goes to the party, the kegger, he sees the Chewbacca Lego figure.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And that's a callback to them doing the Death Star
Death
Lego.
Star. Yeah. And even later when she brings Spider-Man into their apartment because Ned's obsessed with Spider-Man, because Ned rightfully so says, you know, it's not a coincidence that this guy has saved us multiple times. It's somebody we know. And I think if he remembered Peter, he would have figured it out by now.
But as we said, Peter reaches out to Bruce Banner, who's teaching a class in physics. Yeah. And the kids, it's funny, the kids in the class only want to hear Avengers stories. They could care less about learning physics from Bruce Banner. The
girl who asked that question, is her character's name is the same one who becomes Silk.
Oh,
female.
Really?
But I think it's just a throwaway. I don't think it's anything.
So Peter, you know, is eavesdropping on the class and he goes to speak to Bruce. And that's when they have this whole scene about the inhibitor. And he says, well, This is what keeps the big green guy from coming out, this thing on my wrist.
Yeah.
And so Peter's asking him in theory, well, could you inhibit only the bad things and keep the good things? And so Bruce says, well, how do you decide what expression of power is good or bad? Which I think could lead right into the mutant saga.
I agree with you. I think that's a complete and utter setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the X-Men storyline, there is a mutant registration and they have the ability to neutralize your powers. We did there was a girl in that bus scene in the tank during the tank chase. There's a girl in the bus with their headphones on that looks very much like Rogue. Just because she's got like the white stripe down the middle of her head. Yes, and it was just like a little Easter egg. But I find back to this Jean Grey thing, I find it really odd that they're going to introduce Jean Grey in the X-Men in Sony movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's just I see it as the same as having Frank Castle in a Sony movie or Doctor Strange in a Sony movie. It's just another character that Marvel is allowing Sony to use for their own purposes going forward. This is actually genius to me because they know everybody in the world is going to see this Spider-Man movie. So where better a place to set up your next big thing?
Yeah, because you have to think we got no X-Men news whatsoever at San Diego Comic-Con, but D23 is coming up, I think, within 2 weeks. And I have read that they're looking to get these contracts all lined up so that they can announce the X-Men.
The Mutant Saga is what they're calling it, this next MCU phase after Doomsday and Secret Wars. So this is they're banking everything into this.
Yeah. So, because clearly at the end, you do see her on a bus headed
upstate.
Westchester, New York, South Salem, maybe.
It's a lot of trees.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees. Yeah, she went to Pennsylvania.
But as you said, there's that scene where Jean Grey jumps into MJ and you think it fools you.
Oh, this so played me.
They're next to the Silver Cup sign.
Highlander call out, my friend.
Yeah.
I will tell you, man. You go back and listen to our Highlander episode. I talk so much about this damn Silver Cup Studios because when I used to take the 7 train, it's an elevated train out of Queens and it goes right by there every day. 1986, I worked in the city from 88 to 90. I'm like, oh, it is.
But she's spouting the same stuff that Ned is. You must know me. You save me all the time.
Yeah.
So you believe it. But no, you're totally played just like Peter is.
She kisses him, and then it's revealed that it was Jean.
Yeah. But you don't even know it's Jean yet at this point. You don't know if it's a man or a woman or what is going on.
No, right. But it's evil.
Yeah.
It is absolutely evil. This makes me not like this character in any way, shape, or form. Because now she's just being a jerk.
Jean Grey threatens, now that I know who she is, she's not safe.
Yeah. Yeah, she actually throws herself off the building. I'm going to say right now, I didn't know where this was going. Because not being familiar with the source material on this storyline, and we know they kill characters all the time. And I'm like, is she just going to be his Gwen Stacy? Is she really going to die or he's going to save her and then snap her neck? I really felt that they could have gone that route. And it was dark enough as it was, but I'm glad they didn't. Because Zendaya is fantastic. And that speech he gives to him later. So, right.
And this is another great scene when he comes to the real MJ. He comes through her window. She's like, how do I know you're the real Spider-Man?
Right. Yeah.
It's like her throwing the bread at Andrew Garfield.
Right.
It's like, stop throwing that at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He takes her to the Punishers. And the Punisher in this movie has like a bat cave on the docks.
Yeah, apparently this is, I guess, true to the story in the comics that he's got like this, just a boat warehouse.
Well, I guess this is never set up in any of the Daredevil series or anything. So this is new to the MCU.
Okay. Well, I better keep that set because it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he had all these booby traps. Like, you're like, what is going on here? These things are like dropping on him. No, so just Frank protecting his house.
Peter can't have his mask off because Zendaya doesn't know yet who he is.
Right.
So Peter's telling Frank like what the real story is. There's this girl who's jumping from person to person, and he's like, just shoot her.
Right. Yes. Right. That's his answer. Ask questions later. Frank, I can't do that.
Then he's like, you can't even drink coffee without that mask on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny.
Then he's like, oh, don't you leave her with me. I'm not your babysitter. And he leaves her anyway.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's not my girlfriend. Yeah.
But we haven't mentioned VMAX yet, which is the MacGuffin throughout most of this movie.
Imparts some final words to her.
Yeah, and VMAX. I don't know how Yelena knew about VMAX. How did she know?
Did she psionically communicate with her?
But Yelena gives him a clue in the hot tub scene in the beginning. Like they're looking for something called VMAX, and we don't know what this is yet. So Peter, for the rest of the movie, is looking for VMAX.
So does the word VMAX, like he pulled like a Columbo, like he's leaving? One more thing, one more question. Does the word VMAX mean anything to you?
And you think that everybody's lying to him when they say no, but they're not. No.
This is like finding out that V'ger was Voyager.
Yeah,
you're right. It's a huge MacGuffin just to get him from point A to point B. Well, it's to get Jean to be super pissed.
But Jean's next play on this chessboard is to take over Bruce Banner and to get the Hulk to bust into the biggest vault in Damage Control. That's where she thinks her sister is.
Yeah. So what was in that vault? Nothing.
I think it was where they probably did keep her, but now that she's no longer with us, maybe they're saving it for Jean.
Well, that's where they hid. All those people were like, "Let's go. The Hulk's coming."
It's their panic room, actually. Yeah, that's all it is.
That's about all it was. Yeah. But you had guards in front of it, and there's nothing in there.
But the great thing is that Damage Control, we're saying that they pick up, super things after battles. They actually are using the Hand as their own security.
Yeah, we were going to arrest them, and then we thought, you know what? They're pretty cool.
We can use them. Yeah,
let's keep them. And there is a fantastic fight sequence. So the one thing we haven't talked about with this, the whole mutation with Peter, is that he literally is leveling up. Superhero wise, he's got the black eyes, he's got super strength. The webbing is superior to the webbing that he's manufacturing himself.
Even though those web grenades were one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Grenades are fantastic. Apparently they came right from the video game.
And he can't shoot because when he has the cartridges on, it covers the hole in his wrist. Right. So he can't use both at the same time. Again,
these are nice callbacks to the Maguire learning how to swing, learning how to use his powers, and he's powered up. It is a video game.
It would have been a perfect opportunity for Man Spider. Actually, they wouldn't have to obviously keep him with 8 arms, but
even if it was a dream sequence, just something, because at one point he wakes up in that webbing hanging off the side of his building.
And remember how fantastic those sequences were when Mysterio gets into his brain.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That was pretty scary. That was for a Spider-Man movie.
Crazy stuff going on there. You're right. So,
but not only do we get the hand battle, we get Hulk versus Spider-Man.
This is fantastic. This whole fight sequence, especially when Frank enters the fray, there's a scene where Frank is just unloading on the Hulk. The Hulk is flying through the air, and Spider-Man is pulling him back, pulling Frank across the floor on his webbing, and he's just and I laughed out loud. I thought this. So funny.
The bullets obviously do nothing to the Hulk.
No, but that's all Frank knows how to do. He does have those bombs, but yeah, It's just that's all this guy knows how to do. Let's just kill it.
At one point, they split up, and Frank is like, "I'll go after Jean." Like he realizes, okay, the Hulk is
Yeah,
not
correct.
even
He
in
goes,
my
is
category.
this so you don't have to fight the Hulk? Maybe, maybe. But you're right. Back to your point, the Hulk remembers Peter.
Yeah,
He's got him dead to rights. He's got him in his hand.
he could crush his skull.
He is crushing it, and he's like, this is also the first time that you can actually see Peter's eyes through the
eyes, through the white eyes. Yeah,
yeah. Which is fine because it does help later when he's talking with MJ and whatever. The realization. So Banner didn't remember him, but the Hulk does.
Is this because the Hulk was not in our reality when Doctor Strange did the spell?
That's a good question. I mean, there's as good an explanation as any that the Hulk just didn't exist as an entity when Doctor Strange cast the spell. But there, again, a lot of collateral damage. Just half this building is collapsing onto the streets below. Peter did a damn good job of trying to web it all, but when the Hulk goes, he takes it all with him.
Yeah.
And of course, we see him later getting hauled into an ambulance. Am I the only one who got hurt? Is anybody else hurt?
So that's how the battle ends between Hulk and Spider-Man, is that the building is just compromised and the floor, almost the entire floor, collapses that the Hulk is on, and he falls down the side of this skyscraper. Yeah. And we assume that he knocks himself out when he hits the bottom, because the next thing you see is Bruce Banner getting pushed into an ambulance. Yeah,
it is very convenient that his pants grow with him.
Yeah,
it must be like unstable molecules that Reed Richards gave him or something.
But they've got to at least know that they can't arrest this guy. This guy saved the world. He snapped in Endgame, right? For the world.
Yeah.
So you can't blame him for what he does as the Hulk.
No. Somebody's out to get him. If that was my building and I know I had to insurance company be like,
Smart Hulk is really only half a Hulk. So he's not Angry Hulk, which is like twice the size of Smart Hulk.
Yeah, this was the biggest we've seen Hulk, which was fantastic. To me, it was a missed opportunity to bring in Black Widow at some point, but whatever. She just shows up as a consultant on this adventure.
Frank gets taken over by Jean at one point.
Immediately. Frank, whatever you do, don't get within 30 feet of her. Yeah, he fails. Out of control. So they capture Jean, and then this is where Peter has the conversation with MJ.
Yeah, because they go back to the apartment after Peter
finds the letter,
brings her home. She finds the letter. They sit down, and because she's like, "Oh, I don't love you," but
no, I don't know who this person is. You know, I don't know who you are.
It's very much like the Gamora Star-Lord setup in
very much
Guardians.
So. Yeah, and you literally see his heartbreak. She's like, I don't love you. I don't know you. I don't remember any of this.
But she starts to change her mind, it looks like, when she brings him home and he's interacting with Ned.
And this is the relationship that, like, they're just like two little 6-year-olds. This is like my son and his friend Joey. Like, they're just completely content sitting there busting chops and finishing each other's sentence and making a Lego Star Wars X-Wing fighter.
So that storyline is well on its way to resolving itself after that scene. But then we have to deal with Jean Grey being held by damage control. So this is where it becomes the Jean Grey show. It already has, and to some extent.
Right.
But so the big bad of this movie is Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Well, so now Spider-Man has to get her out of damage control.
Yeah. Yeah, because he realizes that
that's all she was doing was trying to get her
sister back.
Killing people.
Yeah.
In the process, but still.
Yeah, no, like I said, there's some serious collateral damage. Of her, I don't think it was really thought through, and maybe just because she's a kid. But no, they captured her. They keep her in this containment cell, give her this beautiful speech, and this is where she realized, we're just going to run tests on you. We're going to weaponize this power you have.
And this is where we get the flashback where the sister was captured. They shoot her with a tranquilizer. And so from this point on, Jean Grey has made it her mission to get revenge and to rescue her sister. So now she has taken the place of her sister in damage control. Spider-Man is going in to get her, but Frank Castle has his own idea. He's like a sniper on a rooftop. He's probably a little not too happy that he was taken over and possessed by Jean Grey.
No, but what if he's also on the wrong side of the island?
Yeah,
her
this
window
is true.
could have
Like,
just been on the other side of the building, and you'd
Yeah.
be like, I don't see her. Whatever. But
this is where we get when she's pushed, almost just like the Hulk, when she's mad enough, that 33-foot radius goes right out the window.
Sure. Yeah, when she realizes that her sister, this VMAX thing, was just the labeling on the air vent
In the room that her
the
sister was
room that
kept.
she's being held at. Yeah, going, this is the last thing my sister saw, and you killed her. She's dead.
So she creates a psychic force field around the building, like it goes out, they say, 1 kilometer around the building.
Yeah, because she's being held in Randall's Island.
Yeah.
Which also goes back to the original.
She shuts down everybody's brain that's in this psychic force field. Thankfully, Frank is not a part of it. He just sees like there's just like a blue haze around everything.
But Spider-Man could still walk through it.
Because Spider-Man is, we've already set up,
Immune.
plot device. He is immune to her stuff.
Somehow immune to her powers.
Yeah.
But she quickly realizes.
But for a long time, I'm thinking, how much is 1 kilometer?
Yeah. And is that from end to end or from the center out?
Right.
Yeah. And again, it's pretty impressive. These people are just freezing up mid, whatever they're doing. Some of it's goofy, but the one lady, her dog goes on one side. She's trapped on the other side. Dog's just sitting there barking.
But we get a sense of how dangerous Jean Grey is. Like, she's going to become Dark Phoenix in this MCU. Yeah.
You poke the bear, man. Friggin' this is probably what drew Professor X to her. Maybe he psionically gave her a little nudge to come north.
And this is where we get the fight between Spider-Man and the Hand as he's trying to get to Jean.
And this is old school kung fu movies on a Saturday afternoon.
This is like Crouching Tiger stuff.
Yes. These guys are flying through the air and they're running on top of each other like stairs. And even Peter's like, well, that's cool. I was like, yeah, that's cool. They're going to kick your ass, but that's cool. Yeah. And you think he's about ready to.
And they overtake him. But then he realizes it's the inhibitor that's inhibiting him.
Yeah, this is again, you have to level up. This is the only thing he can do. He's got to take that inhibitor that he manufactured and put on the back of his head.
Yeah, and just try not to kill anybody after he does it. After he takes it off.
That one guy before he gets shish kebab by all the poles sticking out of the wall, he does web him. And there's this fantastic scene where they're all flying up towards him and he's just webbing them, and he creates almost like this web tornado that just encapsulates them all, and he slingshots down, lands on the ground,
and he spins. It's almost like Homer Simpson in space spinning to eat the potato chips.
Eat the potato chips. Again, the choreography and like these are comic book panels. This is fantastic. And he slingshots up and he just, boom, pops right through that door.
It's almost like that they know how cool that we're going to think those web grenades are. So this is like an organic version of the web grenade. Yeah, but Peter finally fights his way into where Jean Grey is because she's blown out the wall. She's blown out the vault.
Yeah.
So Peter can just get in there now.
Metzger.
Yep. This Metzger is just a scumbag.
Yeah.
But because she's leveled up, she can finally get into Peter's head. And she has that conversation with Aunt May. She takes Peter's place.
She goes in
his head. Yeah. And so Aunt May is like talking to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what takes her off the ledge in the end.
Yeah. And then Frank tries to take her out for good.
No, Peter jumps in the way so she doesn't get shot by Frank. Yep. Frank ends up shooting Peter.
Yep.
She gets away, but Frank has to bring Peter to the hospital.
And you have to say to yourself, are they going to kill off this Peter Parker in this universe? Yeah. Like, I literally was like, I'm not sure whether we're going with this right now. He's clearly bleeding out.
But I'm like, as soon as Frank steps in that door, they're going to arrest him and take Peter into the emergency room. No. And that doesn't happen.
Not at all. No, he gets to hang out. in his hospital bed.
And I don't know how many weeks go by, but Peter wakes up, Frank's sitting there.
Yeah. And he's all on the mend because he gets up and walks out. You got a bullet in your back.
And so the doctors don't know who he is either. They don't,
right,
they can't.
Because they had the mask off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he just have John Doe tag at the foot of his bed?
But what's great is that Frank's like, I got a plan to get you out of here, kid.
Yeah, because hundreds, if not thousands of people are surrounding the hospital cheering on Spider-Man.
Knowing that Spider-Man is in there. They don't know who he is, but they just know Spider-Man's in there.
Yep. And he walked right out the front door. Nobody recognizes him. And, oh, look, there's Spider-Man in the window. And it's Frank wearing the mask and the gloves, giving the high five, and he's dancing around. This is stupid. So he just walks away. And what's he do? The first thing he does, he calls the wolf again. He's like, yeah, give me a couple days. I'll be back.
Well, now he knows her kid's name because that was the thing. Like, do you even know my kid's name? I talk to you every day, she says to him on the phone. So he makes an effort to know her kids' names.
Yeah.
Is that Spider-Man you're talking to?
Yeah, he said hi. What? Spider-Man knows my name. Yeah.
So this is where we see Jean on the bus going upstate.
Wheels on the bus go round and round. Yep.
MJ is on the high school roof where we've seen these characters before doing some soul searching, apparently.
Yeah, watching the sunset.
Yeah.
Or sunrise, either or.
Peter's at Aunt May's grave, telling her I'm not alone anymore. He's letting people in now.
Yeah.
Metzger is actually missing at the end. So he's AWOL. Metzger.
Yeah, you don't know what happened to him. You would think he got rounded up. He probably was like, oh, she attacked us. What do you got in that cell?
Yeah.
Nothing.
We get another little scene with the Elena talking to Peter on the...
Yeah, you got to wrap that up.
Yeah.
Good job with these small potatoes. But the one thing when Spider-Man is hanging out with Ned and MJ, and he gets called because he's got that little... The alerts come on his phone that there's he's got to go. I got to go. And she says, be safe, Peter. And that's when Ned's like, Spider-Man's name's Peter?
Yeah.
So later, at the end, he walks in to get his flowers that he takes to Aunt May's grave every day, sees Ned sitting there, turns to leave, and then walks over. And Ned recognizes him from the party as Maynard.
Yeah.
But they go to fist bump, and then they all of a sudden they're doing their secret handshake, and then Ned says, Peter. So is that all it took him to remember?
That's all it took. That broke the spell.
And clearly MJ
Dr.
just ratted
Strange
him out as Spider-Man.
In the previous movie, he's like, now you don't know a secret handshake with anybody, do you? Because that's the one thing.
Way, you can never interact with these people because they're going to remember in a heartbeat. So again, he's got a relationship. He's opening up 4 years. 4 years is enough. But again, I really miss J. Jonah Jameson. Everybody loves Spider-Man. So I guess it didn't make sense for him to be on TV or in the newspaper bad-mouthing him. That doesn't play into this at all.
But it's 2 hours, 25 minutes. There's only so much they can fit in here.
They crammed a lot.
I think the initial cut was 3 hours. And maybe he was in it. Who knows? Maybe Daredevil was in it. Who knows?
I don't think Daredevil was ever in it. Maybe in the early drafting stages, but they're like, that's just way too much.
Well, he was in the previous movie, so maybe they could have put him in it as a callback, but it never happened. As Matt Murdock.
You're right. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So they did establish that he's just a Murdock law firm sign in the background would have been enough to keep me happy.
I loved it, and that's not a surprise with a lot of these Marvel movies because I love the majority of them. But I think that this holds a candle to the other Spider-Man movies in this series. It's still just a few rungs below No Way Home, because that was just like a unicorn. That's something you'll never get again.
No.
Unless they're going to bring these other two guys back for Doomsday or Secret Wars, which is entirely possible. Yeah. But the novelty of seeing all these actors, Spider-Man actors together, was just incredible. It was probably the height of Marvel cinema. So I don't think this could have ever reach that.
No, it's a brand new day. We're moving on. It's a different tone. It's more lighthearted. And you talk about spoilers. Those spoilers were all over the place that those guys were going to show up in that movie, and yet you're still like genuinely surprised and shocked when they showed up.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I think I gave, if I'm not mistaken, I think I gave No Way Home like 5 buckets out of the box, which is
wow,
almost unheard of.
that is unheard of.
I wouldn't go quite that far with this one. It is solid. I'm going to watch it again, obviously, but I'm probably going to go 4 buckets on Brand New Day.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I don't remember what I gave the last Spider-Man movie either, but I'm gonna go 4.25.
4.25.
Yeah. I think it's clearly the forces behind this are in love with the source material. This is a love letter to all of those Spider-Man comics when Spider-Man was fun and he's just flipping around the city. These scenes where he's just swinging to and fro and again, they're aping all of the famous poses that different artists have given him in covers. But I think it's great. It's fantastic.
It does drag in a couple of spots.
Yeah, so, like I said, you get to the MJ and Ned and Peter kind of reconnecting, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, we got to go back to Jean Grey.
Okay. Again, I don't want to compare it too much, but I can't help it. But again, the No Way Home, not only are you getting the novelty of all the Spider-Men together, but you're getting the novelty of Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin fighting Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then Doc Ock coming in. So it was just hit after hit after hit after hit with that movie, and I don't think it ever slowed down. This one, has its peaks and its valleys. And the other thing that might be a small quibble, if it's a quibble at all, is that the villain being Jean Grey is not a Spider-Man villain.
No,
so it's not, again, that's not what you would expect. If you didn't get spoiled beforehand, it's not what you would expect either. So
I think even if you thought or knew that Jean Grey was in this movie, maybe you didn't necessarily know that she was the bad guy, villain. That she was not the right. But I think you're right in the sense that it was smart on Disney's part to introduce her here. The more I think about it, you're right, because the X-Men being set up, you've already established, now you've established one of these characters. So you can play off that. She was Xavier's first student, I believe. Maybe it was Scott. I guess different versions of in the actual movies, but all that's getting retrofit. I'm not going to say too much about the Doomsday trailer, but we're going to get one last hit with all of these characters that we've seen in some of these 20th Century Fox versions. So, but I want to go back and just talk about that end credit scene, which is a real throwaway scene. And you're like, oh, I sat through the credits for that, but it does set up. Now you feel that could be, so the Spider Tracker, it's just a graphic of the Spider Tracker, which is this app that Ned created, utilizing his voice, by the way, which is kind of funny, that it just tracks where Peter Parker, where Spider-Man is. Spider-Man has been
again, you would think that this is completely dependent on sightings of Spider-Man.
It would have to be. It would have to be just like on Waze, where people.
It's not like he's got a tracker on Spider-Man.
No, right. It's just sightings. Hey, I just saw Spider-Man walk out of the bodega over here on 34th in Lexington or whatever. So it blinks. Spider-Man's been reported. Spider-Man. Wait a minute. We're signal lost or whatever. And then it just travels through a whole galaxy or whatever. It goes off planet, and then you see it reestablished that there's a link, which I don't think his app could do that.
Unless Nick Fury is on his spaceship and he called in to Ned. I see him in space. I see him.
My takeaway is that, right, and he calls on the app.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, I got him. He's right here. My takeaway is that this is setting up Secret Wars, which, if they stay true to the comics, and I think it's not the one that we read in the 80s. It's the reboot that they did in early 2000s with Jonathan Hickman, I think, wrote. It's almost like Contest of Champions, if I remember correctly, where where all these superheroes are transported off planet and forced to fight each other.
Well, yeah, that was the 80s story
Right. I
as
don't
well.
remember. I think that Secret Wars tied in a little bit more with Emperor Doom and some of the other stuff. So I think it's going to play off whatever transpires in Doomsday. I don't think Spider-Man's going to show up in this movie, Doomsday. And I think that's what they're alluding to, that he's transported off planet. But you made the reference that you think that it could be another Spider-Man?
It could be, yes, like a rift opening, like just like the Fantastic Four coming into this MCU reality at the end of Thunderbolts.
Was it though?
It could have been. So I'm curious where you went with the concession stand this week.
Oh, that's right. So playing off the idea of a forgotten hero, I'm going to be bringing a long forgotten candy bar. And much like this 3-hour movie, this one could take you a bit to get through. I am bringing back the Marathon Bar.
The Marathon Bar.
Oh, you don't even remember?
Is this the one with the holes in the middle?
Okay, you do remember the Marathon Bar.
Yes, and it's chocolate and caramel.
It is chocolate and caramel. So there's not a lot of history to this, but let's get into it. So 1973, Marathon Bar was a chocolate-covered caramel candy bar that was first introduced to the market by the Mars Candy Company. And as you alluded to, what made it so unique was that the bar was braided. It was actually what I can only describe as like a flat DNA strand where they swirled together these caramels, and so they did have holes. It had holes in the middle like a braid covered in chocolate. But this thing measured a whopping 8 inches. This was huge. And it was one of their selling points. They actually, if you remember the packaging, it was like the bright yellow lettering against the red wrapper. And it stood out because it actually had ruler marks on the back of it to show you how big this thing.
I remember that, yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you, I dare you to eat this. This thing is 8 inches long. And clearly the name Marathon was because it would take you a long time to eat it. And that was actually the gist of their entire ad campaign. So I don't know if you remember this, but they ran a series of ads in which this cowboy, Marathon John, and his arch nemesis, Quick Carl, would often duke it out on TV. For viewers, the commercials would typically show Quick Carl causing mischief, proclaiming himself to be extremely fast at everything. And then Marathon John would come waltzing in, riding in on his horse, save the day, and he would toss Quick Carl a Marathon bar, daring him to be able to eat it fast. And clearly it slowed him down. Took forever. Took a long time. You ever remember eating these?
Oh, I do, yeah. Messy. I remember,
really?
Yeah. Because you would eat it for so long and it would just melt in your hands.
So you didn't keep it in the wrapper.
You would have to, open the wrapper a little bit at a time or slide it out.
Well, my guess is that you had to have been pretty young because this thing was only on the shelves for 8 years. It was discontinued in 1981.
Yeah, but I do remember it. I was 10 years old in 81.
There you go. So this would have been massive as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
That you're getting bang for your bucks on this thing. Yeah. So apparently it was discontinued due to poor sales performance. They said a long candy bar that was difficult to eat was not what the American market wanted.
And it took up a lot of space on the candy shelf.
That is
so
the
long.
bigger issue, which is, you think about the little shelf space that's available in front of your checkout counters. And that's eating up the space of 2+ candy bars.
Unless they had it,
Oh, you could have,
vertically.
I don't even know if they would have done that back in those days. You're talking like one of those Slim Jim boxes.
Right, but then you wouldn't have been able to see the whole logo if that were the case.
No, but your box could have been, that probably would have been the easier way to sell this thing.
Yeah.
So, but because, 70s into the 80s, it didn't last very long. I do remember it. But one of the cool things that I came across, this character, this cowboy, Marathon John, was played by a very famous cowboy film star, Patrick Wayne, who was son of John Wayne and uncle to Brendan Wayne, who now is main action hero in The Mandalorian.
You see, I don't remember these characters because that probably happened like closer to the launch date of the marathon. So I would have only been.
These. Yeah, there's a bunch of YouTube videos that have these. I don't remember them that much. I do remember the candy bar, but not the ad campaign.
Yeah.
But the other thing I thought was really cool was Patrick Wayne was actually offered the role of Superman in 1978 before Christopher Reeves, but declined because his father, John Wayne, was battling cancer. And he didn't want to leave his dad's side to go film. So, it's pretty wild. If you're longing for this, I guess there is a UK version that's out there now. Cadbury makes something called Curly Whirly, which is pretty much the same thing. It's not as long.
Is it braided?
It sounds like it's, yeah, that's why it gets its name, the Curly Whirly. And that it's still like this kind of squiggly curl braid. And it's just caramel covered in chocolate. So, and of course, now that I'm reading this, I'm thinking a Mary Jane bar would have been a little more.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
But that's it, the marathon bar. I had to dig deep on that, go into some of these forgotten candy bars, and then I had to look like, wait, have we ever talked about this? And we have not. So,
yeah, I did like the marathon bar.
It never made a mini one.
So who made it? What was it? A major company that made it?
Yeah, it was actually the who did I just say it was? It was the Mars Candy Company.
Mars, okay.
Yeah, but it was so fleeting. So by
Mars,
81,
the maker of the Zagnut as well from last week.
Zagnut, last week's episode. Zagnut. So marathon, which is what that movie was.
Yeah.
These movies. Don't get me wrong. If I'm going to the movies, I want my money's worth. But when you start looking at your watch, it's like, all right, we all have things to do.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what the 9 o'clock was. So let's go to this movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where they didn't have so much to do.
No, and apparently the title is taken from a line in a poem by Alexander Pope.
Yeah, we get that reference, I guess, toward the end of the movie. Somebody actually, it's like when you watch these movies and they actually say the name of the movie, you're like, he said it.
Right. And I always took it as, before I knew, because I don't know if I just glossed over that part in the movie where they say what the title is, but I always just took Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, just being equal to ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, well.
You don't know anything, then you're happier off.
I think that can apply.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of this is that they want to forget. I don't want to remember this relationship. I don't want to remember the good or the bad parts.
So this movie has always been very substantial to me because I think it's one of these few movies that really, not realistically, but it catches that moment of desperation, like after a breakup.
Yeah, this is a heady movie. This is very heady, and it is one of Jim Carrey's more serious roles.
Yes, and he says that he was going through something similar. He was going through something similar at the time, and he said that he couldn't have done it if that hadn't happened to him. Yeah, no, this. I mean, it opens up with him, doing a voiceover. The editing on this is fantastic. Yes, it's very Memento-esque. Actually, bring that up at the end because I would have loved to have seen a chronological order version of this movie, which I believe you can watch on the DVD of Memento. Yes, which is a Christopher Nolan movie. But that's part of the magic of this is that it like Memento, it rewards additional viewings. Sure, and it's kind of like a mind blown moment the first time you see it. Yeah, because the setup in the beginning is something very different than what plays out. Yeah, it is a movie you have to pay attention to. Yeah. Again, you're right. It rewards you, but it takes you into some dark places.
And sometimes you're like, this hitting a little too close to home. Like you said, I think we've all gone through relationships like this, where you're just lamenting every decision maybe you made or someone else made.
Feeling
just
sorry for yourself.
Wallowing in your own self-pity and wishing it had never happened. The one thing I think I've always, this is one of my mantras, which is I can never regret what I did or decisions I made or someone else made, as long as I'm happy and content with where I am now.
Because it informs everything.
Yes.
It informs what you are today.
Yeah, sure. I do this now because of that. I can't regret. I don't live long enough to sit there and wallow in regret.
There's an anger stage when something like this happens, when a breakup happens. So, and that's what these characters act out of, is the anger, because it's fresh, right? The hurt is fresh. Yeah. So they make this decision. There's this obviously fictional company, Lacuna, that's at the center of this movie, that offers the service to erase someone from your memory.
Lion King made a whole song about it. Lacuna Matata.
So this is Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet as Joel and Clementine.
And we even get a Huckleberry Hound joke in there.
Yeah, get a couple of them. Yeah, so Joel works in an office. I don't know really what he does. I don't
really think it was established what.
But Clementine works in a Barnes & Noble. So
bookstore.
You would think that a procedure like this costs a lot of money, but they can afford it, so maybe it doesn't.
Well, this is like Quaid going to get his adventure at the facility in Total Recall. He just worked he was like a schlub. He had the money.
So what these characters are doing it's self-imposed. So they want to forget. So it's not a Doctor Strange spell like it was in Spider-Man. They are trying to erase this individual from their memories to get on with their life. So we see at the very beginning of the movie, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet's characters meeting Q on the train to Montauk.
Montauk. Have you ever been on the LIRR?
I've never been on the LIRR. I've been on the Metro North, but not the LIRR.
It just goes east-west, not north-south. The same thing. It's a train. But Montauk. Bleak February, Valentine's Day.
Snowing
Montauk.
On the beach.
It is miserable. You think going to the beach in the wintertime is fun? It's not. The wind is wicked. And he even makes a joke. He pulls like a Anakin Skywalker. He's I don't know what's so people fascinated with sand or just tiny rocks.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of funny. Yeah, he's miserable from the get-go. Like his voiceover is just.
Camera sees him waking up. And this is not something that you catch on to first viewing, but you hear a car speeding away as he's waking up. I
didn't sign him either.
So this is the Mark Ruffalo and the team leaving after they wipe his memory. They're probably still in the van at that point.
Yeah, this is like Fight Club, where you get to the end of it and you're like, wait a minute, I gotta go back and rewatch this again, because it's one loop, it's one cyclical story, just told out of order.
So he wakes up and because of the sad sack narration, he's like out of sorts. He's like, I called out sick today, and I just, decided at the last minute to blow off work and go to Montauk. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why. We know why. Well, eventually we do. Who wears full pajamas like that anymore? Nobody.
They sent him those pajamas.
I know.
He opened those in the packet. I don't know what they had to do.
It's like you got to put these on. This is like the robe at the hospital with the.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to see you naked, so put these on, please.
No, please put everything on. Yeah, because he's even seen. He's got the little sketchbook, and he goes, "Oh, there's pages ripped out. I don't remember doing that."
There are two years worth of pages ripped out of here.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah. But you're right. He gets on the train and there's Clementine. Yeah. I think you could probably track this entire movie based on her hair color, because she changes it multiple times throughout.
But he sees her on the beach. He sees her in the diner after he leaves the beach. And then again, he sees her on the platform to go back home.
Right. And she's goofing it up because now she realizes that they keep running into each other. So She's like one of these people that you within 10 minutes are like, oh, I got to get away from this woman. She's a little too clingy for me. And clearly he wants nothing to do with her.
But again, is she clingy because she knows who he is in some part of her brain?
Well, I think that's the point, is that they continue to get drawn together.
Yeah.
And what's wild about this, it's straightforward, but it's not. But again, the way that they cut this up, and 3/4 of this movie takes place in his brain. All these flashback stuff is when they put him and they're trying to get rid of his memories, and he's reliving these memories and realizes pretty quickly, can I just keep that memory?
Yeah.
And now he's chasing, now he's actively fighting this thing that's dismantling his memories. But the camera like everything is like in your face. Very few wide shots. There's a couple, where they're on the ice and they're hanging out together, but it's like the camera's like right in their faces the whole time. And it's very disconcerting.
And you realize how deeply later on that this erasure was, because on the train, she says to him, now don't make fun of my name.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know any Clementine jokes. And she goes, oh, you know the song, Huckleberry Hound.
Huckleberry Hound, oh my God.
And he goes, oh, I don't know Huckleberry Hound. But later on, he says that he had a favorite Huckleberry Hound doll as a kid. So they even erased that.
So no, there's nothing. Just like when Jean Grey goes in his head and he goes, yeah, there's no memory of you in there whatsoever, Peter.
Yeah.
She's a blank slate. So yeah, this Lacuna company does their job pretty well. Did you forget? I would forget to pay them. It's like, oh no, erase that from my memory as well.
But yeah, she clings right onto him. She wants to hang out after the train. She invites him over to her place to have a drink. She's telling him that she's going to marry him.
Right. This is where you run. Right.
And he actually does say, I should go now.
Yes. You need to get out of the house now. But they're star-crossed lovers.
But he calls her immediately when he gets home because he can't stay away either. She takes him to the lake, the frozen lake, where she takes all her boyfriends, apparently.
Yeah. So I wrote in my notes, she's a force of nature and he's a wall of denial. But maybe somewhere deep in, like, he's afraid to let this girl in. Maybe because he remembers, or maybe because he just wants to friggin' wallow in his own self-pity.
But what's going to happen when he looks at the calendar and he's like, I don't remember anything that happened in the last 2 years.
Right.
Or why is there a $5,000 bill?
Yeah. Right. What is this? We had your memory erased. What memory? Wait, what'd you erase for me? Your girlfriend. What?
And
girlfriend?
The doctor's like, oh, here we go again.
There we go. But we also were introduced to Elijah Wood with those sideburns.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
And this is only 1 year after Return of the King is in theaters, is this movie.
So what's fantastic. So we have, again, we've got the Incredible Hulk. We've got Frodo. We got Mary Jane and the Riddler. So
now we get a little taste of what happened before. So we see the very bad breakup between the two. And we find out that from Jim Carrey's friends, the friends that are a couple, that she chose to have him erased from her memory.
This is David Cross.
David Cross, yes.
So this guy, do you ever watch the TV show Just Shoot Me?
Oh, yeah. And he also starred with Bob Odenkirk as a comedy duo.
Yeah.
I forget what the name of their show was. And also, of course, Arrested Development. He was a big part of that.
Yeah. I think he turned blue at one point. Was that his character?
In the Blue Man Group he was trying to join.
The Blue Man Group. But we see when they're in the library, the bookstore, she kisses somebody, but you don't, his name's Patrick, and you don't see who it is. But we find out later that was Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these little things are being layered down. And you're right. He finds out that Clementine has gone to get him completely erased from her memory.
And he goes to visit her before he knows that. And she, of course, is acting like, can I help you, sir? And he thinks that she's just being incredibly mean to him by ignoring who he is.
Right.
But that's not the case.
No. So he's like,
honestly does not know him.
Fine. You want to erase my memory? I'm going to erase you. Show you. I'm going to spend a lot of money.
But the scene where David Cross, where he's over this couple's house and David Cross tells him finally she got her memory erased, his girlfriend is yelling at him not to tell Joel, Jim Carrey. And he says to her, "This is not Mama Carey's little boy anymore." That is a line in this movie.
I don't get the reference. Mama Carey?
It's Jim Carrey.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what?
So,
and is that a mistake? Is that on purpose?
Oh, interesting. I don't think I did not catch that at all. Because his last name is not Carey, the character.
No, not in this movie.
Yeah.
So
That's
what
weird.
this company does is send out postcards to everybody that this person knows saying this person has had their memory erased of this other person. Never mention them again.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I don't know. That is a system that's set to fail.
Joel's neighbor got a postcard.
Right.
Because he sees the little return address, Lacuna, when the guy's getting his mail.
Yeah. You're like, so how's Clementine? Who? Oh, sorry. I was away on vacation. I've got my mail in 2 weeks.
So after this couple tells him, oh, she got her memory erased, he bursts into the office of Lacuna. I want the same thing done.
And
if she's doing it, I want to do it.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yep.
Yeah. Adorable.
So they say, okay, what you got to do is bring everything that you have that has a connection to her. Pictures, letters, anything.
That's impossible. It's impossible to do that. It's like Peter handing over his letter.
And he says, technically, this procedure is brain damage.
Any risk of brain damage? Yeah, this is brain damage.
It's on par with a night of heavy drinking. You'll never miss it.
It's a one rough hangover.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo with that hair was like, wow. And I'm going to say he looks 20 years younger, but yeah, it's because it was 20 years ago, right?
So Mark Ruffalo is one of the doc's lab assistants, and so is Elijah Wood. So we know this guy is so scummy. So he's trolling Clementine because he knows that she's vulnerable. So he can take advantage.
There's got to be like a doctor.
And he's got all the inside information on her from Joel's stuff.
Sure, what she likes, what she doesn't like.
He even takes the Valentine's Day gift that he bought her and gives it to her himself.
That is pretty scummy. Well, he's not going to do anything with it anymore. Yeah, why don't you bring all that stuff that she likes to my house? What does she like for dinner?
But again,
how'd you get in her pants?
You see the last memory that they had together of the breakup. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah. Like you said.
She goes out to a bar or something and comes home at 3 a.m. and he's like, where were you? It's terrible. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, no, this is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We've all had relationships like this at some point or know somebody who went through this.
They're taking all these little physical mementos that he has and creating memory touch tones, touch points by scanning them into the computer and then taking those touch points out of his head. So the first thing, it's going backwards like a memento does. So the first memory that he has erased is the breakup memory.
Sure. The most painful. And
you see, like, as he's following her in his car, as she's walking down the street away from him, your cars are falling from the sky and, landing all around.
Yeah, it's spectacular. It is so well done, this movie, where it's just unhinged. Yeah, memories are literally falling away, falling apart.
And then the next one back is like they go to a flea market and they're arguing that he doesn't think she'd be a good mother because she says she wants to have a baby. Dude, you keep your mouth shut on that one. Yeah, keep that one to yourself.
What are you doing?
Because she's very impulsive, is Clementine. And
I said, she's a force of nature.
Yeah.
I can see where you're initially attracted to her, but there's also a point where you're like, all right, you are way too much for me.
But the great thing about Kate Winslet's performance, okay, this is Joel's movie, obviously. It's a Jim Carrey movie. So this is all told from his perspective. So a lot of what Kate Winslet is doing is Joel's version of Clementine in his head.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a perfect way to look at it.
Every once during the honest to goodness flashbacks, you do see the real Clementine as well.
Yeah.
Because not all of it is told through his memory of her. So she's playing two different versions of the character. The real version.
The heightened version that he has in his head. Yeah, sure. Yeah. There's two sides to every story. Yeah, you could probably do a completely different story from her point of view.
Yeah.
And he's the asshole.
You do get a taste of him being the asshole during that flea
That
market scene.
sure. Yeah, no, like I said, keep your mouth shut, dude. Even if you feel that way, it's not the place and time to bring it up.
And he says something else when she goes, I wish we would communicate more. And he says, constantly talking is not communication. Like, that's just
Guy
asking
is
for trouble.
not meant for a relationship.
No.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, there's it bounces around. So more than once, his ex-girlfriend Naomi gets brought up. Do we ever meet this character? We never see her, correct?
No, she was played by Ellen Pompey, who we would know from Grey's Anatomy, the main actress from Grey's Anatomy. So she filmed scenes, but it was cut out of the
So
final
she's
movie.
only mentioned. She's never actually shown.
She's never actually shown.
Okay, because her name comes up multiple times throughout this movie. My last girlfriend, Naomi. And I'm like, well, there's no payoff on that.
No.
So, okay, well, that's interesting. So I guess at one point she was supposed to be introduced, and then they just said, you know what, let's just stick with Elijah Wood stealing her panties. Let's do there. Yeah, he's a piece of crap, Elijah Wood. But then this suddenly becomes like the Lacuna tech team story.
Yeah, because what Lacuna does
just like it becomes Jean Grey, that it becomes like less about Joel and Clementine and about these other three characters
that are actually wiping his memory. So
yeah,
he gets,
and they just they're having a party at his house, dancing on, literally almost having sex on top of him.
And I'm like, is this what they do to every patient?
And they're smoking pot, they're hanging out. She's dancing in her underwear.
So what happens is Joel gets a package in the mail from Lacuna after he makes the appointment, and after they scan all of the memories. They say, now we're going to actually come to your house. You put these pajamas on, you take this pill, and you will be out. So you won't know what happens. We're going to come in,
it's the
set up our stuff, and wipe your brain. And you won't even know we were there.
You just, because otherwise, again, like you said, good, right? If you woke up in a lab, you'd be like, what am I doing here? So do it in your home. You just wake up like it's another day. And you go on. Da, da, da. Hey, look, it's Wednesday.
So at this point, Joel, in his head, as he's being wiped, realizes that he wants to call this off, that this is not a good idea, that this
is a fantastic reveal because he's now being exposed to all these memories. And like I said, at one point he starts chasing. He goes, wait, just can I just keep this one memory? So he's clearly cognizant that these memories are being taken from him.
Well, he visually sees the memories breaking down. That's the cars falling from the sky.
Right, yeah. But he's like, well, I want just one memory. And you're looking at this like, is this like nihilistic? Is this supposed to be bleak, or is it uplifting, and inspirational?
Then he takes his version of Clementine in his head, and they're running from the memory eraser.
The memories erase. He's going to hide her. He's going to hide her in his.
There's one scene where they're like, you see them actually running through Grand Central, and everybody's disappearing. It's just nice, really,
just popping.
Yeah.
And he decides to hide her in one of his childhood memories. And this is fantastic because this oversized set, he's hiding underneath the table as a child, but he's full grown Jim Carrey wandering around in an oversized kitchen set, trying to hide her so that she can be buried in those memories and not lose her.
So these are memories that wouldn't have been touched by the procedure. So that's where he's trying to stick her.
And when he explains that to her, she goes, well, my crotch is still here. Just as you remember. And he goes, ew, yuck. Because he's a little kid. It's like getting gross.
And meanwhile, Ruffalo is like, he's off the grid, man. I don't know what to do, because they can see that it's not going according to plan.
Yeah.
So they have to call the actual doctor to come over to fix things.
He's trying to suss out who Patrick is, and every time he grabs his shoulder, he turns around and it's just the back of his head again.
Yeah.
It's the imagery is just wild.
But there's one point where they're like, he's being washed in the sink as a baby, and Clementine is there with him,
Yeah,
They're
hiding in the
like at a
sink. Yep.
drive-in and they're doing
Yeah.
like a mystery science theater.
It's like a maddening vicious cycle. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's the process is wiping away.
His version of Clementine is like, well, you have to hide me in your humiliation. Like these really repressed memories. So it's like his mom catching him
Yeah.
jerking off, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Joel." She's next to him.
Joel. Oh, Joel. Yeah.
And then you get the scene where he's a little kid, and all the bullies are telling him to hit a bird with a hammer.
This is a bad scene.
Jim Carrey, this was actually a memory of his.
Oh, get out of here.
That he used for this movie.
Geez. All right, here's what I need: a red wagon and a dead dove and a hammer. Yep, I'll do the rest. Yeah, because he's a little kid, but yet when Clementine grabs him and runs him away, he's full-grown adult dressed as a little kid.
And one of the bullies like twists his arm as an adult, and like
yeah, we get bullied into stupid things as kids.
Yeah.
So it works. He wakes up the next day.
Well, the big scene at the end of the memory wipe is them getting back to the beach at Montauk.
Yeah.
That's where he ends up in his head, because that's where they first meet.
They start, yeah.
And he's like, no, we can't be here, because now he knows that the plan to hide her in unrelated memories is out the window, because this is where it all started. And this is the last thing that's going to get erased.
We also get this story of Kristen Dunst's character. Like she had her memories erased of her boss because they had an inappropriate relationship. Why would she still be working there?
Yeah, I know that the boss is completely taking advantage of her.
Right. Yeah, I know what you look like naked. You don't remember any of it. Dives too much into like their story, and it's just
that part was uninteresting to me.
Yeah,
the doctor and Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
it was just taking away.
Agreed.
From what we really should be paying attention to, but yeah. So they're at this. They meet because Naomi, the ex-girlfriend, wasn't able to go to this beach party that he goes with his friends, David Cross and his girlfriend.
Right.
And that's where he meets Clementine, and they steal away from the party and they go into this, they break into somebody's house on a beach on Montauk. And this is the last memory that they have. And this is what just the house disintegrates as they're in it.
Just crumbling. Yeah.
You see the ocean water waving, lapping into the house.
Yeah.
And I think the last place that he sees her, like then they're in Barnes and Noble again, and like all the books become white, blank in the background. And she whispers in his ear, "Meet me in Montauk," before she's completely gone. Then it's full circle. We see the beginning of the movie again. And that's why when he wakes up at the beginning of the movie, it's right after his brain has been erased. Yeah.
So it's just been chronologically told out of order to give you a narrative that, it's very well put together. And
I would have loved to have had some insight into her procedure. Like, did she try to fight it? Like when her memories were getting erased?
But at one point, they start hearing each other's voice recordings from Lacuna of all the things that they didn't like about each other.
Because Kirsten Dunst, once she realizes that she's been duped, she sends everybody's envelopes back to them with all their stuff.
With their records.
So that's...
They're like, well, they screwed me, so I'm going to just...
Exactly. So that's an important part of the plot. You have to know why she does that. And unfortunately, they choose to listen to the tapes while they're in each other's presence.
Right. Wait, you said that? I had no memory of saying that.
Yep.
No, because I have no memory of you.
Yeah, I would never say that about you. Well, obviously you did.
Clearly you did. Now in this day and age, you couldn't even prove it wasn't you.
Yeah.
AI would be like, I got thousands of hours of you on a podcast. I can make your voice say anything I want to. Great. Yeah, it's comforting. But so at the end, they chose to get back together again?
Yeah. Because as we said, they somewhat remember each other, or there's some kind of emotional connection is still there.
Well, they had that secret handshake, and all of a sudden she's like, Joel? That was the Peter Ned joke there.
After they hear each other's tapes, there's that scene at the end where they're talking to each other. You know, this is going to happen eventually. What happened here on these tapes is going to happen eventually. You know, I'll feel trapped. I'll get bored. You'll get mad.
Yeah.
And he just says, okay.
Okay. whatever. That's shared experience, and I can't hide it. I can't run from it. So it's a lot of wasted money is basically what we get down to.
Yep.
I hope they had a return policy.
But I
Lacuna.
wonder if they had like the Lacuna company had a plan for that. Like we'll just disguise ourselves as like a auto repair place. Oh yeah, I needed that done on my car. I guess the Johnson rod, right?
Yeah, right. How does that show up? Right, when you order like a XXX movie on your credit card, it shows up on your hotel bill as extraneous payment or something.
But this is just captures a feeling. This movie, and like you were saying before, it's extremely relatable, and to the point where it's uncomfortable almost.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're like, boo effing who? We've all had shitty relationships. We've all had bad breakups. I never want to think about you again.
But I think
it just seems a very extreme characters here.
But that is, that's part of the anger stage, I guess. And that's where we capture these characters, still in the anger stage.
Yeah.
So I think that this movie is very important for honestly capturing a part of the human experience. And I think it should be recognized for that.
Yeah.
Through a ridiculous sci-fi story, of course.
But look at, so Charlie Kaufman wrote this screenplay. And based on some of his other movies, inside John Malkovich adaptation, like this guy is off the charts. Like he may be the greatest screenwriter ever, because it's just like who decides to delve into this stuff? Like on paper, you're like, this just sounds miserable. I don't want to watch this movie.
Yes. And this won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah, no, the screenplay, it's wild. And again, the way that it just all rotates and just eats itself up like a snake eats its tail.
And it's just on countless like best movies of all time lists that I'm looking at here. Best films of the thousands, 50 best movies of the decade, 100 best films of the aughts, 21st century's most acclaimed films. A movie that
doesn't get enough credit for being as wildly unique, and yeah, it's got a very specific voice to it.
And amazingly, it was a box office success. It was released in March of 2004. So it was still, I couldn't see this. This is so bleak and winterscaped, especially those scenes on the beach where it's snowing.
Right.
And, they actually filmed during winter, so that's not fake.
Sure.
Released in March, so winter still kind of has its holds. Yeah. I can't see not seeing this in the winter, and we had to watch it in August, so it wasn't quite the same effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it cost $20 million to make, and it made $73 million at the box office. So it was a success.
I'm almost positive I did not see this in the theater.
No, I saw it when it came out on video.
Dropped on disc or stream. Well, streaming wasn't even a thing then. Even like the cover song. Some of the soundtrack is pretty heartbreaking as well.
Yeah, that Beck song that plays over like during the scene where he throws the cassette out the window.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw Peter Travers' review on Rolling Stone.
What did he say?
This is on the front of the DVD cover, by the way. A smart, sexy, and seriously funny comedy. A smart, sexy, and seriously funny comedy. It's on the front of the DVD. If I brought this home and put it in thinking I was going to have a fun night watching a comedy with Jim Carrey, I'd be like, what the? Somebody switched discs. That is not how I would describe this movie.
Roger Ebert added it to his great movies list in 2010, so it was one of his favorites.
Okay.
The wisdom in Eternal Sunshine is how it illuminates the way memory interacts with love. We more readily recall pleasure than pain.
Yeah, we do. We do kind of suppress some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's wild. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, it is an apt pairing with what Peter was going through. Peter was the only one who remembered.
So I really like it, and I really appreciate it for what it is. For buckets wise, out of 5, I'm going to give it 4 3/4.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to give it 4. It's a solid movie. It's not something I want to revisit on a daily basis, But it was nice to go back and appreciate this for what it was, because I
And
think when I
as we
probably
said,
saw it,
Kate Winslet, of course, she was nominated for Best Actress for this, didn't win, but she
rightfully,
was nominated.
who'd she lose to?
I'm not really sure, but
Hmm.
Jim Carrey, again, very understated here.
Yes, very much so.
He's funny in a couple of spots. He gets kind of jokey every once in a while,
Yeah,
but
but that's not his character,
I
though.
think
It's
he's like heartbreaking here, and
yeah, yeah.
he
No,
needs
he's
to be.
and like you said, if he really was kind of going through this and felt, reached in and kind of grabbed onto that feeling, it definitely comes across, because you feel for this guy. Stupid sad sack. Get over
Yeah.
yourself. Go dive into work like the rest of us. Or start
Let's see.
drinking.
Hilary Swank in Million Dollar Baby beat
Oh,
Kate Winslet
okay.
for the
Okay.
Oscar.
All right. Crazy.
Yeah, glad we got to talk about
Yeah,
this one.
no, and that was an apt pairing.
All right. So, what else did we do?
No, I'll let you go first, because I already
This is
rambled
more what
aimlessly.
else didn't I do
No.
this week?
Oh no. That's a
So,
bummer.
I had tickets for the family to go see Weird Al Yankovic in Bridgeport, Connecticut at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater, which is a partially indoor-outdoor venue. And if you were in the Northeast this past week, you'd know that we got deluged with rain. And this was a Tuesday night show, and that was one of the worst nights for rain and
Yeah.
thunderstorms in the area, and hence it was rescheduled. And unfortunately, I can't make the rescheduled date, so my one Weird Al concert experience, I'd never seen him before, never took place.
That's a bummer. And you can't
It
even do the
is.
reschedule.
No, because I'm going to be on vacation in Niagara Falls during the rescheduled date.
So do you think when they set up these tours, like venues like that, they all have to have like these backup dates? All right, we're going to keep this open. If something happens with this concert, we have a
Yeah,
rain date, literally a rain date. Yeah.
that's how they described it in the email, a rain date
So
of
they knew
August
immediately. They
25th.
knew
Yeah,
immediately. All right, well, we're just going to reschedule this, because this guy is all going all across country.
yeah.
So he can't go from Connecticut. Well, we can't play tonight. Well, tomorrow I'm in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and then Thursday I'm over in Idaho. Suddenly jet back to Connecticut.
Right. So yeah, they'd have to make it make sense on the
Sure, on the tour. Yeah.
tour. And he does come back to the Northeast at some point later in the tour, so that's where they stuck it
Oh,
in.
that's too bad.
Yeah.
That is a missed opportunity. Although, to be honest with you, he's been touring for solid 2 years now on this tour. So hopefully he'll swing back around, and you'll get a chance to see him.
Maybe he'll come back.
He is
Yeah.
he is a treat. I have now seen him 3 times. I've seen him more than any other performance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, the last time I saw him at the Bardavon was the pared down Vanity tour, which was just none of his cover songs. It was all original stuff. And it was fantastic. It was, if you're a diehard Al fan, Al head, I guess, if you want to call it, it was fantastic. So hopefully you'll get another chance.
So yeah, bummer news for me. So how about you? What else did you do?
I finally got to watch a movie that I was really pushing to cover on this podcast, and it just never happened. This was I guess it's been out for a while now, but I just stumbled across it on Hulu. Good luck, have fun, don't die.
Oh yes, I saw that as well.
You did see it
on Hulu. Yeah.
It's on Hulu. The only thing I don't like about Hulu, I don't know, maybe we don't pay for the upscale, so I get the incredibly loud commercial breaks.
Yeah.
That I have to mute my TV because there's the dynamic ads that they throw in here are just way too loud. So this was directed by Gore Verbinski, who famously directed the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
I think the entire trilogy, the first 3. And it stars Sam Rockwell, who I love this guy. This guy can do no wrong. And I feel like every movie he's in, he's just a completely different character. And it kind of plays into, it's a really odd movie. And I remember when it dropped, It didn't do well. It was in and out of theaters in no time. It's hard to describe it as a whole. If you want to tell someone, hey, you should check this out. It's not a movie I can recommend to many people. It does require a lot of attention. And in a nutshell, I mean, you said you saw it. Sam Rockwell shows up as a quote unquote guy from the future who's trying to save humanity from this AI. And he shows up at this diner and he needs 7 recruits. And he's done this 107 times and every combination has failed. They've never been able to fulfill their mission. But if shit goes sideways, he's got a bomb that he can just press the button and he'll be catapulted back to his original timeline and he gets start all over again. And so we get these 7 characters. The opening scene sets the whole thing, the tone of the movie. He's making his impassionate speech to these people who are glued to their phones. And, he builds out his team, some voluntarily, some not. But then we get into these wild side stories of some of these characters and who and what they're going through. And some of it makes no effing sense whatsoever. It is unhinged, but it is a sight to behold. It is a wild effing movie.
Yeah.
And I laughed out loud.
You've got to see it to believe
times.
it. You've got to see it to believe it.
Yeah. And even, like I said, even with my wife sitting right next to me going, I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think you would. And I have to applaud it for just how innovative and how creative it really got. And at the same time, like I said, there's definitely aspects where it's like, this makes no sense whatsoever. But I didn't care. I enjoyed the journey. Did you like it?
Oh, yeah. I liked it. Of course I did. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, is this a movie you could recommend to somebody?
Yeah,
I maybe have like 5 people in my circle that I could be like, you need to watch this movie and we need to talk about it.
Yeah, most of the people that I would recommend this to would already be aware of it and have already seen it.
Yeah, like I said, I never saw it when it dropped in the theater. So I was happy to see it on Hulu. It's a movie I might actually go back and rewatch at some point.
I think I need to do that as well.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff that I know I didn't pick up on.
No, again, it's kind of like the 2 movies we just talked about, which is especially Eternal Sunshine, which is they lay like these little groundworks and some of these flashbacks that pay off later. And, again, once you start dealing with time travel, whether or not this guy is actually from the future, and these other characters, and it's pretty wild. I appreciated the muchly.
So next time, there's very little I know about this movie other than the basic setup. I think we're going to go back to Dinosaur Land next time.
Yeah, this kind of like, I've seen the trailer a couple times now and it's just dropped out of nowhere. Again, sometimes these trailers give you too much away, but then you got people like The Odyssey who are like, they don't tell me enough.
And the title gives no indication to me what this movie is about.
Oh, no.
It sounds like it's a horror movie. The End of Oak Street.
The end of Oak Street or The End?
The End of Oak Street.
Okay. This sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where he's given nothing away.
But is it Abrams? Is he directing this? Is that, or is he producing this?
That's a good question. I think his name is attached because you pointed out this falls within the Cloverfield universe.
That's what is being bandied about. I'm not sure if that's true.
So it's not official. Whether or not that's official. It's like a doomsday dinosaur movie.
Directed by David Robert Mitchell. Produced by J.J. Abrams.
Okay, so he's got his fingers in it.
Yeah.
My guess is it probably does. It just seems wonky. Like it looks like a neighborhood gets transported back to a dinosaur
prehistoric times or dinosaurs. It's like almost like a mist kind of a thing. Do they get transported to the neighborhood or is it the other way around?
Right. So
we'll be able to tell you next time.
And Ewan McGregor is the dad. And it looks like it takes place in the 70s, either that or the short shorts, the shorts that every gym teacher wore in 1976 are back in style. I don't know. You're right. I don't know that much about it. And maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe that is a good thing. And I don't think we know what we're pairing up with it yet. So
no, I don't
be
think
a surprise.
we do. This is a surprise. We'll figure it out. Once we figure it out and we know, then you'll know.
But thank you for listening today.
Yes, thank you very much.
If you are a new listener, please follow, like, whatever you can do on the app that you're listening to us on.
This is episode 376.
Mm-hmm.
I see podcasts out there applauding themselves for 100 episodes. We don't toot our own horn enough. So thank you, as always. Appreciate you pressing play, and hopefully you'll come back next week. Until then, bye.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand.